Okay, what we have to tie here this week is our mini anchor worm. Use this fly a lot for trout fishing, majority of the time as a Euro nymph. We're gonna pop this one out of the vise. We'll take you through exactly how it's tied. Okay, we're gonna come in with this is an Ahrex FW 550 in size 12 with a 3.5 millimeter tungsten bead. This one's from Fly Tying Source. It's a black nickel color slotted bead, and I'm using Veevus Power Thread 140 for this fly. Just attach it on our thread here, and then we're going to just use a small piece of 0.25 lead wire up in the front just to stick in our bead here. Give a little taper to the body and hold our bead in place. I'm going to cut this down a little. And then we're going to move the thread to the back, the bend of the hook, right there. Let that thread spin up. Our 140 power thread is it will unravel quite a bit. Okay, this is when we're working with this micro pearl core braid, or pearl core braid for that matter, I like to just singe the end. So I'm going to just singe it down just a little bit till it gets liquid, and then I'm going to spin it in my fingers. Just so we have that nice little taper there. Looks a little bit more like the tip of a worm. Spin that thread up. I'm going to hang off an inch of this material off the back as the tail of our worm. And we're going to trap that once, and then we're going to put 3 wraps on it, touching wraps, moving forward up the shank of our hook just a little bit. Now we're going to pull this material up and back, and we're going to make a nice little tapered thread body here. The smoother this is here, the smoother that our micro pearl core braid will transition up it, and it'll just look better in the end. That's got a nice taper to it. I'm going to come in with some super glue. This is Loctite gel. It's a little bit of that on those thread wraps. And then when I'm tying this, or moving this material forward, I just like to pull all the way back with my first turn, and then wrap right over where it's tied in. And then tighten, or loosen up a little bit on my tension after that. And just keep doing touching wraps up the body until you get to here. We're going to invert our vise. Okay, we just inverted our vise, and now we're got this on top. We're gonna take our thread, 1 wrap, 2 wraps over top of it, get it centered right there by the eye of your hook. Do 1 wrap behind, and then our half hitches to finish the fly. I'm just gonna pull that all down tight towards the bottom. Snip off our thread. And we're going to cut this tag here to about 1 inch. pretty close to matching the tail. Just remember when you cut it, you're going to singe back this material a little bit, so you're going to lose a little bit of length here. Let's get it liquid and then spin it. There you go. Now we're just going to invert again, and I'm going to seal this one up with my UV. For this one I'm using Braid Zap Thick Flex, or Flex Thick. I really like this. Their Flex is it's just an extra nice touch. It almost gives the nymphs and worms and stuff. It's like they're chewy more than a hard piece of something. So now that that's set, we are done. This is how I like to, it'll present itself in the water. This is our mini anchor worm, Procore Braid Red. I like to use this fly a lot as my point fly in a Euro setup for trout, especially after heavy rain or something. I like it anywhere you would use a squirmy worm. It's just this material ends up being a lot more durable than any squirmy worm material that I've found. So I use this fly for that setup, and then you can also use it in a dry dropper setup, or I really like this one for pond fishing under just like a popper. So a popper dropper, and have this hanging underneath. That way you can get away with this heavy bead. You can tie it with a lighter bead if you wanted to use it under, say, like a traditional hopper or something like that. But yeah, this works great as a bass, panfish. The popper will attract them, and they'll eat a worm, because everything eats a worm. Thanks for watching this tying video. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. Like and subscribe.